Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you all for being here. Just last month, I stood in this room and said that the budget that was being presented was a reflection of our values and invest in the most critical needs of our city. I also said that I was confident that the relationship that we had built with the council, that we would have a collaborative process, and we would have today, where we come together united to sign the budget, and that we understand that building the city all Angelenos deserve needs to be built with urgency. There is a difference between spending and investing. This budget makes investments to bring people inside, in public safety, and in other areas that will net a return in terms of lives saved, in terms of the quality of life, and better neighborhoods, and that will save the city money in the long run. With 40,000 people unhoused in our city, and with the size of our police department possibly dropping to 2,002 levels, we stand here today offering a real sustainable plan for change and a new direction for LA. I want to thank the leaders standing with me, President Krekorian and President Pro Tem Price, for your leadership of council to secure this unprecedented response to an unprecedented crisis. And to Chairman Blumenfield, this is a familiar feeling, and we know when I think of it, all of us, all four of us served in Sacramento and went through the Great Recession together. And I don't know about my colleagues, but for me, this was a little bit of PTSD. But it was wonderful to work with partners where we established a relationship many years ago and find ourselves working together again. We know that this time, however, was much different, fortunately. The significance and urgency is absolutely still there. And I want to thank the council leadership and members and staff for your thoughtful partnership in this process to help us arrive at a budget before us that will bring the urgency to the crisis we face. This budget charts a new course for a new Los Angeles, one that is stronger, happier, healthier, and safer. We will build more housing and create a permanent interim housing infrastructure to make it cheaper to bring the unhoused inside. We will scale up Inside Safe and take tents across the city down. We will hire more police officers and invest in nonviolent solutions to crime like grid, summer night lights. We're putting money in more firefighters to respond to emergencies faster. We will protect our environment, investing millions in everything from progress toward our emission goals and ensuring that we take full advantage of the recent rains. We will strengthen our infrastructure, putting the work in to make LA more walkable and accessible. And yes, we'll fill more potholes. Together we will get this done. This is the new LA that we are building together. And I want to introduce the former budget chair and the current president of the City Council, Paul Krekorian.
Thank you very much, Mayor. And let me say first, Mayor, how appreciative I am and how appreciative the entire council and the entire city of Los Angeles is for your leadership on this budget. A lot of people haven't fully realized the challenge that was before our mayor upon her election. She was the first new mayor to come into office with our new schedule, which meant that she was being sworn into office while the budget was already underway. And so, unlike past mayors, she didn't have the opportunity to have a smooth transition into the budget. She had to jump in midstream. And even with that challenge, before she was even sworn in, she was reaching out to this council to try to figure out how we can lock arms, work collaboratively, build consensus towards achieving a budget that serves the needs of all Angelenos. And it is an example of what we can expect from this mayor moving forward, the kind of collaborative leadership that she is demonstrating now, but it's also it's reminiscent of the leadership that she has shown throughout her career. And when we were serving in the legislature together, she was able to bring together people of very different viewpoints, Republicans and Democrats, conservatives, liberals, to help deliver a budget for the state of California in its worst, darkest moment of recession, she was able to deliver that through her collaborative leadership, and so has it been here in Los Angeles. So, Mayor, I'm incredibly grateful for the work that you've done. And this budget, our extraordinary budget committee, led by our first-time budget chair, but long-time budget veteran, Bob Blumenfield, has delivered to this council, is a budget that invests in public safety. It funds the extraordinary urgency of response to homelessness and affordable housing crisis that this city has faced. The mayor has emphasized so much urgency about. It invests in our basic infrastructure and quality of life and the sorts of basic services that people in Los Angeles need. It invests in improving our environment, and it lays the foundation for our economic recovery post-COVID to continue to create jobs, to continue to create revenues, and to lift all of the neighborhoods of Los Angeles up. So I couldn't be more pleased with the budget that we have produced together that will guide this city forward. And I want to reiterate my thanks to Chairman Blumenfield and all of the members of the Budget Committee for the long hours, the detailed analysis, the careful consideration, the difficult trade-offs that they had to make in delivering a budget that could get such broad support in this city council. So I want to thank Chairman Blumenfield, and I also want to thank my friend, our Council President Pro Tem Curren Price, who is also a longtime budget veteran and was part of the struggle within the committee and then helped to lead the passage of this budget on the council floor. So I'd like to introduce Council President Pro Tem Curren Price.
Thank you, Paul. First of all, let me start by thanking Mayor Bass for her leadership on this budget, and Council President Krekorian and Budget Chair Blumenfield for their facilitating a thoughtful and thorough review of this budget that was approved by the Council. But I'm pleased to join my colleagues and Mayor Bass as she signs her first budget, a budget that really delivers for Angelenos in lots of ways. The budget provides historic investment in resources to bring our unhoused in, of course, with the Mayor's Inside Safe program. But beyond that, we're working together to create a clear path for how we can improve the conditions of our citizens. This budget increases resources for public safety, including unarmed alternative crisis response programs, investments in pedestrian and traffic safety. We combat crime, combat climate change, and increase opportunities for growth and reducing poverty, all within this budget. We've met this moment with great urgency and determination. And the budget certainly is a fiscally sound one that provides significant revenues for the reserve fund, as we're required to do. So again, the budget represents, I think, our shared values, our shared commitment, and a shared determination to get the job done and to meet the needs of our constituents. And again, building towards a more fair and equitable Los Angeles. Mayor Bass, we thank you.
Thank you, Council President.
And without further ado, my pleasure and honor to present the budget chair of our council, a man who's no stranger to the difficulties of reaching compromise and meeting the needs, but he's chaired this committee with a great skill, grace, and strength. Bob Blumenfield.
And before the councilman speaks, I might mention that when the four of us were in Sacramento, Assemblymember Blumenfield was the budget chair. Through those difficult times.
Yes. Well, thank you. Although there was a big difference 14 years ago when we were dealing with a very difficult budget and we were in the legislative branch, we had an executive who had very different values in many ways. One of the unique things about this budget and this budget process is we have an executive who shares our values. And all of us, I mean, that's one of the things, yeah, there were a lot of, difficulties and complications we had to work through. But at the end of the day, all of us, and the mayor leading the charge, were leaning in on our shared values. We were leaning in on how to really fund and address homelessness with just a record amount of focus and money, $1.3 billion going to homelessness. And we were leaning in on public safety. The mayor set the bar and said, we are going to hire this many officers, even if it seems ambitious. And we leaned in and said, yes, we are going to fully fund that effort. We are going to fully fund our police department. And we all also leaned in saying, well, public safety is policing. We want to fully fund that, but we also want to work on this alternative interventions. And so we leaned in, adding another $14 million to alternative interventions to really take the efforts that this city has already started and move them forward in a very positive way. So I'm very proud of what this budget represents. We also leaned in on, I talk about the issue of the day is homelessness, and the issue of our time is climate change. And we leaned in on that as well, adding over $25 million to decarbonization of our buildings and electrifying our fleets. So this is I think it's a very good budget. And we were lucky as a budget committee that we were given a document by the mayor that was pretty much there. It was 99% of the way there. We needed to go through and go through it with a fine-tooth comb, but at the end of the day, the priorities are all 100% intact. And we were able to work that through. And there were some issues, and you talked about, we found that balance of accountability and expediency. How do we put those two together? We found a really good way to make that happen that gives the mayor the authority, the access to the funds, to be able to move forward with haste and nothing holding back, but gives the council also that role that they are charged with in this charter to have that oversight and accountability. So I'm very proud of what we've done here, very grateful to our mayor for leading the charge, and excited about the signing.
It is wonderful to work together again. It really is.
Over here, please. Thank you.
Okay. All right.